artists that I know that have worked and supported, like Kate, for example. Also, she, you know, her husband's a theater director and a writer, and so she comes, or let's say Willem Dafoe, another American actor that works on independent films. These people come out of theater, they come out of a tradition of the art world, and so it's not a difficult place to step back to. Yeah, but I'm sure there's many actors in Hollywood that wouldn't do that because they think it's not going to forward their career for some reason, you know, because they're looking for a different kind of payback.
This was a little bit the maybe I put it wrongly, the question I asked before about the relation between theater and art world, which seemed to be closer than, for instance, theater and film, or film and art. Would you agree on that?
I'm not sure.
That you can make more experiences, that you are freer in your way of working in.
Yeah, maybe it would be very interesting to hear what Kate Blanchett tells about the way they shot Manifesto. I don't know if Julian had very specific ideas of what he wanted to see, or
he was very precise, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just that I think you feel the freedom as an actress or actor more that you know in which surrounding you're in. So that art form delivers more freedom, you know, and that's why you're, and then maybe it has a bit more to do with theater, because the room is not defined, you know, you might be on a stage and you have no surroundings, and it's all about you and how, you know, you fill the room with text, with your body, with your personality. So that's right. There I would say theater and these kind of films are closer than the kind of Hollywood films and
you know that Kate Blanchett met Julian's work in Berlin. She went to a show he had in the Berlinische Galerie, I think, and then she wanted to work with him.
Yeah, that's
you have. Do you have anybody in mind you would like to work with?
Maybe I find one.
So please we open up, and are there any questions? We try to get a little bit closer to this whole subject.
I must say, I find it amazing there's so many women. Is that a thing? I'm really amazed when I look at it. I'm like, wow, it's the majority is women. How come? You know?
Good sign.
It's rare, yeah. It's like, hey. Or is it, Okay, I get it.
But it's also true that...
No, does it have something to do with the
actresses like Kate and...
Or,
you know, there are more women actresses who want to work with artists.
And maybe it's a bit more openness and more willing to risk. Or, you know, maybe.
Not so afraid to lose their image.
Yeah, or to kind of knock the borders down, you know, because of course you have certain cliched parts, especially in Hollywood, I would say, for actresses. It's hard to get to do parts that kind of push the boundaries a little bit, you know. And so I think in the art world that it doesn't matter. If you're a woman or a man, you can push the boundaries.
I'm not sure that many women artists would agree with you.
No,
because
as
if
an
you
actress,
see the hit
as an
parade,
actress.
as an actress.
That's what I
know.
Because
if you see the hit parade of the money, the market, and so there are not so many
I mean as an
women
actress.
as
As an actress.
Okay, are there any questions, please? Yes.
A question to Ed Lachman.
Could you speak up a little?
Louder?
Louder,
yeah. Sorry.
Here in Bavaria we are now talking a lot about virtual reality, and as we've seen in the trailer, it's also a subject here, a hidden subject maybe of all movies. So what's your opinion about the future of virtual reality?
Well, we're storytellers, so I don't care what medium we use, it's all open game. You know, you know, there's always this idea that technology is going to bring us to a different place in our language in our stories. But I don't see that. I just see we adapt to different technology, and it's how we find a way to use it. And one thing I didn't say, which, you know, about Hollywood or not, or why people want to work in lower budget films or films with artists, it's control of the image. In other words, the more that creative people feel that they control their own image, that's outside of the demands of finances, which obviously there's always some of that, but controlled by people outside of the process of making the work, you'll always have people that will gravitate to that, because that's ultimately what you want. You want to have the control of the image to be able to express yourself. But maybe Tony could answer that, because he's
yes, because we had a talk exactly about virtual reality this morning, and maybe because we have a symposium tomorrow about virtual reality with demonstrations of some of the newest technologies.
Yeah.
But your opinion about all that is very different.
Yeah. Last week, I had a meeting with the CEO of HTC in China, and he took me to the studio to have a look at their VR project. And I'm interested in VR, obviously, for all sorts of reasons. And probably just a quick response, if the area that seems most interesting for me is VM, virtual mixed reality, where you're mixing the real space with virtual space. And the thing I said when I was there, I was talking with it, because it's very problematic in many ways. You know, you've got this thing on your head, and it's got this cable that's like, you know, dragging you around. And, you know, to put this thing on your head and have the cable, you better be doing something really well. So you better have the narrative really well, and you better have the sound really well, all that stuff. It should really work. And right now it's not. So on a technological level, it's not there. On a narrative level, it's not there. And one of the things I talked to them about was it was a joke in a way, but it was also probably for me a real issue. It was what I call the Rodin effect. And when you're looking at a Rodin sculpture, Rodin as an artist was extraordinary because he dealt with three-dimensional space, but he placed the viewer in one spot. And then the viewer would go here and maybe around to the back. VR, they don't know. They don't know why. And so you've got these people, and you look really stupid, like here, with your mouth open, doing this. And lost in space, like a lot of these people seem to be lost in space. And one of the roles an artist plays in all of this is we as artists, I think, we're not that democratic, like Rodin. We want to give an experience to the viewer. And as I said to the head of HTC, for me, high definition curved screen TVs are way ahead of VR, because that stuff is really capturing on a two-dimensional level. So right now I'd say, entre guillemets, just like painting, the development of perspective in painting, it's there. It's much stronger than the VR. And personally, from what I could see now, the VR seems like a bit of a dead end. What could be potentially interesting is VM, where it gets mixed, where you are actually mixing real space, real stuff, with VR. Now, again, to reach that level technologically, that's a high curve, even on the technological level. And we look at the history of cinema, you know, trains coming out of the screen. That was enough to make the audience really excited, you know, duck, because they think the train was going to hit them. And that's a little bit where we're at with VR, because people are used to the roller coaster, and the first time you see the train come out of the screen, wow. And the first time you see the VR roller coaster, you think, oh, that's pretty cool. Second time round, third time round, it's not holding. And then again, technologically, it's bad CG. The resolution's really low. Like I said, resolution, narrative, etc. So first, for me, even on the technological level, we've got a long, long way to go. And cinema took quite a while, but it's a pretty was pretty fast. So I hope it maybe can happen, but I'm really skeptical right now from what I've seen.
There was like 10 or 12 years ago was a very good show in the ZKM in Karlsruhe, which was called Future Cinema by Peter Weibel, who curated it, and it was about all the dead ends of technological revolutions in cinema, and they all ended on the garbage. So it was all dead end, but there was like interactive or first tries of computer generated storytelling and stuff like that, which doesn't play any role anymore. So this is might be an argument for what you say about virtual reality, that it's a technical thing, but as long as they do not have the narration which comes with the technology, it's a dead end.
The interactivity and narration, this is a really demanding combination. And when I was a kid, I grew up with a stereoscopic thing where you put photographs in them and you flip them around. It was fun, but it didn't last very long. It didn't work out.
Because you talk so much about Louis Vuitton. They opened because we have this award for artists who go new ways.
I said Prada too.
And they open a show with Ian Cheng, who is working not about virtual reality but about immersion, so which is closer to what you call VM.
Yeah.
So this is opening, I think, on Friday, so we can test whether they are smart or not.
VM, I think, is super interesting. And I even said to Heinz, you know, what you see, one of the things I thought was most interesting of all of this stuff was what fighter pilots are using, because fighter pilots are using that stuff to slow time down. And that's interesting, because the reality is too fast. So when they're trying to shoot down other planes, they're going around too quickly. So this stuff, the technology is slowing it down so they can respond. That's really interesting.
But they don't use glasses. They have the Google tests, which implant that into the eye.
They've got
glasses.
Yeah, it's not the Google implantation. It's the
Okay.
So all of that stuff is far more interesting, at least for me.
More questions, please. No, Nina Ora is watching the clock, so if there are no more questions, thank you very much for everybody. Thank you for your expectation for the films. I hope that in 4 days you will not crucify me in saying that it was a big deception to see all these films. Thank you very much to you for coming.
Thank you.
And I hope to see some of you again a lot in the screening of the next day. Thank you.